everyone and welcome back for another Monday video. It's Elizabeth. A few years ago, I did this on my channel. I summarized Riverdale seasons 1 through 3 under 10 minutes. That was honestly the best description that I could come up with and summary for Riverdale Spark Notes version if you were wanting to start watching from season 4 onward. If you don't know what Riverdale is, it is a CW show and boy is it ever. It is just the best and worst thing I watch, and it brings me so much joy to watch it every episode, and also great pain. I can't describe Riverdale to you. I just have to explain the things I remember. So much happens in Riverdale. It's an hour-long show. It's based off of the Archie comics, but it's very dark, dark, dark. If you didn't know, Riverdale just came back from season 6 from a very long hiatus because the first 6 episodes of season 6 were their own entity, and now it's essentially a new season. This is me explaining all the things that I remember from seasons 4 through 6. I have to keep watching it until the end. It's like if you start watching Grey's Anatomy and it's like, well, I'm on season 22, I can't stop now. Here's the information I have for you. In each season, something drastic and crazy happens, and of course, Betty, Jughead, Archie, Veronica, the 4 of them, Cheryl, they all have to come together and figure out what the hell is going on. And the big thing that happens in season 4 is that Jughead leaves Riverdale High and he goes to a prep school. This prep school, couldn't tell you the name, watched it all. He goes to this prep school where his grandfather went and to be a writer. And he's like,
if I go to the school, I'll get scholarships to go to college, I'll become a writer, it'll be amazing.
Him and Betty do a long distance relationship. Veronica and Archie are in a relationship at this point in time. Cheryl and Tony are in a relationship, which everyone and their mother stands. We're all paired up, we're all doing okay. There's no Black Hood anymore. Jughead goes to the school, and these 2 kids, Brett and Donna, they're the antagonists. We truly can't stand them. They're up to no good. At the end of season 3, we see this weird flash where Betty, Archie, and Veronica are around a fire burning all of Jughead's clothes full of blood. You're like, what the hell is going on? So that's basically where this season leads up to. Is like, how do we get to that moment? Brett and Donna, up to no good. They just hate Jughead. They're jealous of Jughead. He's a good writer. He becomes a part of this like fellowship program where he writes a novel, and there's a lot of tea behind this novel. There's someone behind the auteurs of this novel. It's a series. They get passed down generation to generation, and everyone ends up like dying weirdly who's ever written this book. They find out that this guy, his teacher, is behind all of it, and everyone hates him. Everyone hates Jughead. The fact that he understands putting clues together about people's deaths. Brett and Donna essentially stage Jughead's death. They basically want to frame Betty for murdering Jughead, her boyfriend, so that they don't get in trouble for the murder. Why are they murdering someone? They black out Betty, essentially. Veronica and Archie come and are like, what the hell is going on? Betty has a rock in her hand. Jughead's on the floor in the woods. Jughead wakes up. We don't know that until later. Jughead wakes up. We figure out everything that happened. They do their little detective nonsense, and you're like, I thought I was watching Riverdale, not Nancy Drew. It's okay, everyone's a detective on the CW. They piece it all together, and they all pretend that Jughead is still dead in order to get back at Brett and Donna. It all works out in the end. Jughead's alive. He does this whole scheme. Like, he walks into the classroom and is like, do you miss me? And it's like, wait. You've been dead. So we're like, okay, so everything is fine, kind of. But then, at the end of the season, I believe this is the end of this season, but could be the end of the other season, where we find out that Betty and Jughead share a half-brother, and his name is Charles, and he's a member of the FBI. That's just a little bit of information to know. What happens going into the next season is there's all of these videotapes of houses, of places, of people doing things, the main characters doing things. Everyone's like, who is this auteur? By the way, what are you saying? They say auteur multiple times in every episode. I don't know whose favorite word it was in the writer's room. And so basically, Betty, Jughead, and their shared half-brother, even though they're in a relationship and it's weird and their parents are also in a relationship, they all are trying to figure out who this auteur is and who's trying to like come after everyone. They figure out that it's Jughead's sister. Also, Hiram Lodge, throughout this whole thing, is trying to kill Archie, is trying to like ruin Veronica's life. I think this all happens in season 4 as well. Season 5 happens, but very quickly, we do a freaking time warp, baby. So the season 5, like, kind of ends because of COVID. Like, the last episodes of season 4 didn't get shot, but they're the first episodes of season 5. It's all very weird. They go to prom, they graduate, everyone thinks everything is fine and dandy. Jughead is gonna go to like a writing college. Betty joins the FBI. Archie goes to war. Veronica becomes a businesswoman and is the she-wolf of Wall Street, not the Wolf of Wall Street, TM. So from season 5, you know, we have this prom moment, we have a graduation moment. I'm pretty sure like something happens with Betty. Betty and Archie kiss or something or whatever, it doesn't matter. And Veronica finds out, Jughead finds out, they all break up, it doesn't matter. They all go their separate ways. All in their separate ways, blah. That happens, we go into the time warp of 7 years later. And they say like 2022 within the 7-year time jump, which in the previous season, I think it was like 2020. So 7 years, it adds up somehow. Archie and Betty are just like Bone City. They just are like having a good old time, hooking up constantly. Veronica's with Reggie a little bit because they're partners in a business. Veronica kills her ex-husband. That's a very interesting plot point that nothing ever happens to her. We find out Hiram's origin story because Reggie is working for Hiram until he switches over to work for Veronica, because we just find out Hiram's an awful person and we find out his roots and how he became an awful person. It was very Joker-ish, you know, we don't really care. Jughead wrote a really famous book and is struggling as a writer in New York. He breaks up with his girlfriend, he's an alcoholic, he does drugs, he's not doing great. They all end up back in Riverdale. Of course, Archie has PTSD from the war, but he becomes a teacher, sure. Jughead becomes a writing teacher, sure. Betty becomes a teacher about the FBI? What does she teach? Betty becomes a teacher, Veronica teaches business and makes fake money called Riverdale money or whatever. And she straight up makes fake money for her class, but they all spend it in Riverdale. This is based on a true story from like Washington or Oregon, a really small town made their own money and circulated the money to use in small businesses to help the small businesses in their town, which is essentially what Riverdale's trying to do. They're trying to bring Riverdale back. Within the time jump, Riverdale just go down the drain. They're just trying to revive Riverdale. They're all back there. They're all just gonna stay there because why not? Why not just like up and leave all their other lives and just like come back to where they know and love? So that happens. It's not bad. It's not great. But then we get into season 6, which is something called Riverdale. So something happens at the end of season 5. There's some sort of explosion. There's a bomb. Something goes on. Season 6 starts with that, or season 5 ends with that. It's all blurred. The first 6 episodes of Riverdale season 6 is just essentially Riverdale. Riverdale is everything and nothing because it's an alternate universe. It's a multiverse. It's an alternate timeline that doesn't affect any part of the normal timeline. Archie dies in it and then comes back to life. They like rip out his heart. Cheryl's a witch. Betty does a bunch of stuff. Jughead goes and becomes a rat king. Literally, none of it matters. You don't need to watch it. You actually don't need to watch Riverdale. It is the most insane 6 episodes of television I've ever watched in my life. I can explain it in no detail because it really all doesn't matter. So now we're on season 6, part 2, essentially. We're not in Riverdale anymore. A bomb goes off and we see sort of the outcome of that, in which Betty and Archie gain superpowers. Archie is super strength, obviously. That's an obvious choice for him. Betty sees a glow of red around people that are bad people and have done bad things. This is how we start Riverdale season 6 part 2. I can't believe I watched this show. I'm 26 years old. The people on the show are 26 years old. Do I like the show? Yes. Do I hate the show? Yes. Do I think it's awful? Absolutely. Will I continue to watch it until it gets canceled and finishes up? 100%. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what other videos you want to see on my channel, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because I post a video every single Monday, and on Fridays I post my tier list videos. I will see you next Monday. Boom, boom, bye.